Well. Good morning, West Ham fans. Let's talk contracts. Yes, everybody, Russ on the West Ham Network. Hope you're safe and well. Happy Thursday. Hump day's gone. We're running down the hill now. We're running down the road all the way to Goodison Park on Saturday. What's the worst that could happen? We play Everton on a Saturday. It's a Saturday. Yeah, on a Saturday. 3 o'clock kickoff. What's going on? Unbelievable scenes. And then get ready because it's all the old Thursday, Sundays again. Obviously, we start off or restart our European journey in the last 16. First leg against Freiburg next Thursday in Germany. So, it's going to be all fun again, isn't it? Looking forward to that. But anyway, enjoy the Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff this weekend while you can, as much as you can. But obviously, we're in the business end now of the season. And we've had a lot of discussion. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of chatter, a lot of comments back and forth about David Moyes' contract status. But as we know, we have a lot of players out of contract this summer. Some we've potentially know that they've already signed it, but it hasn't been announced by the club. It has or it hasn't, or we've exercised this person's one. Nothing necessarily has been officially announced about some of these players. Thomas Souček, yes, that's been made official, but we've got here. So I thought, let's just take some time to have a look at this big rebuild job we've got coming in the summer in terms of Tim Steindl and Maximilian Kahn and Rob Newman, if he's still hanging around, and Moritz and Bowen and Noble, rather, and maybe David Moyes, or maybe a new first team coach. But obviously, it's Tim in charge of all the recruitment. So let's have a quick look. So this is the contract expiration dates, and I put a few different colours in because I like a bit of colour coding. In terms of those imminently, currently running out at the moment in the summer. Obviously, we know Calvin Phillips, that's a loan deal, so he goes back to his parent club, and whether we decide to exercise that, as we've been linked with a few other players, the likes of Hayden Hackney from Middlesbrough, is a good shout, and a few more. We're going to talk about a few players who've been linked with Hammers headlines later on today. Now, Antonio, we were led to believe he signed a new deal, but there's been no official announcement from the club as such. This has happened before, where we know that, or we might even know that the player signed a new deal, and then Moyes releases it in his press conference. I think he did that with Cresswell last year, that we'd exercise another year option on his contract. Thomas Souček, his contract was due to run out this season, but we offered him a new deal, and that's been sort of ratified by the club as well. So that's why I put Antonio in grey. Same with Soufal, because apparently we have exercised, or we're looking to exercise, his 1 year option we have on his contract. However, he's not happy apparently with that and wants a longer deal than just 1 year added. Ogbonna coming to the end of possibly his career in football in general. There was talk of potentially offering him a new deal, but I think that ship has sailed, in my humble opinion. Aaron Cresswell, the same, wasn't even on the bench for the game against Brentford on Tuesday. No, Monday. Jesus. Ben Johnson, we know, is in the midst of discussions with the club in terms of contract. Tim Steindl apparently very keen to sign him to a longer term deal. It's just in terms of money. Ben Johnson's agent's looking for about £60,000 a week, saying he's an integral part of the first team squad. And over recent appearances, I think, you could probably allude to that, to be honest. Particularly the last sort of half a dozen appearances, definitely seeing an improvement, an upturn of him being used more regularly in the team. Goes with saying, because two of our left wingers we've got rid of. Divine Obama as well, again, in the midst of contract negotiations. Joseph Anang, he's also, contract is up in the summer, our reserve team goalkeeper. Well, is it reserve? No, he's like a third choice goalkeeper. Our youth team goalkeeper, 21s as well, goalkeeper. Nathan Trotz, our 25-year-old goalkeeper, currently on loan at Regie BK, having spent their last season, and they got promoted into the top flight. So he's on loan then. And obviously David Moyes as well. But we've spoken enough about Moyes at the moment. And you can see how the rest of it pans out. 2027, if everyone's still around, could be maybe. But I think potentially, you could probably see Lucas maybe leave. Agad potentially as well in the summer. Flynn could be, if Southampton get promoted, I imagine they'll be making his loan move permanent as well. So it does seem this all is bookend on this 24th, on these 2024, in terms of all the players we seem to have coming to a contract at the end of this summer. So yes, so it is a bit of a rebuild job, as you can see. So I thought, let's play the newest game show to the West Ham network, Renewal or Farewell. Should be a jingle there, really, somewhere. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to do Renew or Farewell. What will I do? What will I do with these players, the players coming to the end? So I thought it needs a jingle. It definitely need a jingle. So let's play Renew or Farewell. So it's quite a simple game. What would I do if I was Tim Steidten? Would I renew or farewell? Should probably be the other way around, but anyway, kind of works. Right. So as I said, there's half a dozen. There's about there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9 players, including Calvin Phillips, whose contract expires this summer. Officially, obviously, it might be 7 if Antonio has had his contract renewed, and if we have exercised the 1-year option on Soufal. I think that one's probably your easiest one. So I'm going to renew Vladimir. You see how it works. Although I have to put it in the middle. There we go. I think that's fair enough. Makes sense. Renew Vlad. He's and I wouldn't give more than the 1-year deal, actually, to be honest, because I think actually we've got some really cracking right backs coming through in the under 21s. Dan Chess is on loan at Salford City. He's converted winger, moving to right back, very much a modern day right back. So I think he could do a really good job. He seems to be doing well at Salford at the moment. Just got into the first team. Although they did lose 5-1 the other day, and he was playing right back. But regardless of that, there's some really good ones. Brian, got right Battram. He played at under 21s, like half an hour the under 21s, and then played the next day, the 18s, he captained the side. So, and my favourite player, for anyone who watches the Academy show, Erdris Golombekis. Fommy Dabbler, Ginny Robinson as well. So I think we've got enough in there. So I think 1 year is enough. I'd like to see Ben Johnson give him some time as well, to be honest, that position. I think it's a bit of a shame that he's not getting more game time in his preferred position, really, in all honesty. Right, so he is Renewal. Right, let's go Farewell. Let's try and see if I can do it. Farewell to Aaron Cresswell. Farewell. Ready to say goodbye. But yes, been at the club. He's the second after Mark Noble. He's the current player with the most West Ham appearances in the Premier League after Mark Noble. Obviously came from Ipswich Town. Interestingly, we seem to be reigniting our interest for Leif Davis from Ipswich. And we'll probably talk about that maybe at Hammer's headlines later on today. So farewell to farewell to Aaron Cresswell. Who's next? Who shall I renew next? Let's renew Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson, to me, needs to be renewed. Pay him the money and get him renewed. He is a perfect squad player at West Ham, in my eyes. He is perfect in that he can play a number of positions reasonably well as well. He can play a number of positions quite well. I would love Ben to have a position and that be his position. It could be right back. Maybe he can have a run at right back, maybe. But you never know if we get a new coach coming in. You never know what Tim Steinton's ethos is in terms of the right back situation coming into the summer, into the fullback situation in a whole. I think Emerson needs some help at that left back position. But we know Tim is very keen about trying to tie Ben down. That's because of the amount of positions. You know, the lad plays right back. He's played right wing, left wing this year as well. He's played left back. He's played centre half. He can play in the back two. He can play centre half in the back three. And he's played midfield. He's played in 7 different positions, I think, this season, which is phenomenal for a 22, 23-year-old. So he is my next renewal. Next farewell is going to be Angelo Ogbonna. Angelo, I think it's time to say goodbye. I don't know why there's a song with everyone, but anyway, there was rumblings because again, very similar to Ben Johnson, he had sort of a run of games. Angelo always seems to pull out a performance, one or two a season, where you go, oh shit, he can still do a job, and you're thinking maybe not. And I think, and I've spoken about it before, we have to be the top clubs, the top clubs, and that's what we aspire to be, have to be ruthless. They have to be ruthless. Sentimental stuff doesn't play in decisions at Man City. If they think they can improve in that position, you're gone. They're bringing one in. Look at someone like Mahrez. So last year, Mahrez was brilliant. He was one of the best players of the league. But then the Saudis came in, wanted him. Right, okay, off you go. We'll bring in Jeremy Doku instead. So there's constantly Zinchenko, he's gone. They brought in Gravaldiola, whatever his name is. You know, same as Jesus. Get rid of Jesus, bring in Haaland. That wasn't a bad one, to be honest. But that's what you have to do. People like Cresswell, people like Ogbonna, yes, great servants for the club, and they were great servants. But, you know, you look at it now, you look at our bench, I know, because, you know, obviously a couple of players out on loan, we've got rid of a couple of players. But on the bench on Thursday, George Earthy was on there, Ollie Skulls was on there. Cresswell goes, that automatically pushes Ollie up a position. And he is absolutely, you know, he should be the next one to break through in my eyes. So, yeah. So, for me, he gets in. He is going to be farewelled, my friends. Who's the next one? Who's the next one going to go? Let's renew Mbama. Let's renew Mbama. For me, he needs another contract and then see how it goes. I think, you know, he's been off the boil this season. Now, that might be confidence. That might be just a step up, maybe. And then when he drops down, maybe he thinks it's not his level anymore. I don't know. But I've seen him a number of times playing for the under-21s, and he hasn't done it for me. He seems to be off the boil. And it could be frustration. It could be, you know, it could be that Moyes isn't giving the game time. But it's a vicious circle, you know. It is a vicious cycle, really. Not a circle, it's a cycle. In that, you know, if you're not performing when you've got back into the youth side, there's no chance you're going to get back into the, you know, because actually, you know, as I said, there is first team coaches at every game of those under 21s. I know because I sat behind them, and I sat behind Billy McKinley the other day, and literally every time the ball it just kept on bouncing off Divine, and he just kept on going, and he was willing him on. We're willing him on. I don't want him. I think, unlike where we've let the likes of Sonny Perkins go and Ashby and Elise and Pierre Ekwa and people like that, I think let's give. For me, I want to give him another contract and to see what he can do. Maybe on a different coach. See what can happen, because then at least, you know, there's not the sliding doors moment, the if buts and maybes. And then if he still doesn't make the grade, fair enough. We've given him a fair crack at the whip. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't had a fair crack at the whip to cement that place. You've seen that. I mean, you're looking at the contract. Danny Ings. I mean, he's still got another 18 months on his contract. I think it's 2025 that he's out. So let me just check. I believe it's 2025. Yeah, it's 2025. So he's still got, and I think Antonio will be offered if he hasn't. I think he has been, but yeah. So it will be tough for him to break through, maybe under the current coaching setup at the moment, West Ham first teams. Let's see what happens in the summer. Let's see what happens. Now, who shall I get rid of? I'm gonna get rid of Nathan Trotz. Lad's 25. He isn't going to become a first teamer at West Ham. He's playing all right in Denmark. As I said, he went back to the same side. They were in the second division. They got promoted into the first division. He went back. And we've got some very good young goalkeepers. Very good young goalkeepers. And in that respect, I would also, while we're doing that, let's just put both in. I'd also get rid of, I'd say farewell to Joseph and Nang as well. Let's put them together there. For that exact reason, we've got a really good group of young goalkeepers coming through at West Ham, and at the moment they've hit the ceiling. In so much so that Joseph's actually playing under 21s at the moment for some games. Where actually Jacob Knightbridge, I think, is a fantastic player. He is going to be he could be an England goalkeeper, Jacob Knightbridge. He's got that young. He styles his game, it seems, and again, I don't know if it's true, but watching him play on the modern day sweeper goalkeeper, Edison, Allison, he plays as a sweeper. He literally plays as a centre half, as the middle of the centre half three. And he's got a great range of passing. A bit like Edison has, Edison, in pre-season was playing midfield, and to be honest, Jacob could probably do that. He's got great ball skills for a guy, and not even for a goalkeeper, for a football player. He's got a great range of passing, let alone the fact he's a goalkeeper. You got Christian Heggie. Christian Heggie's he's had some. I think he's got something like six or 7 clean sheets already for Den Bosch this season, if not more. He went for 3 or 4 in a row, I think it was. They lost at the weekend, but he's a great goalkeeper. When he was at Stevenage, he had really good rave reviews from people. So you got Heggie, you got Knightbridge, you got Finley Herrick as well in the 18s. So I think you got some really, really good goalkeepers, particularly next year. Obviously, Fabianski given that 1-year extension to his contract. The likes of Knightbridge, the likes of Heggie. I think Heggie's a little bit ahead. So it would, so not this year, next season, after next. You could have Ariel as your goalkeeper, Heggie is your number 2, maybe Knightbridge is your number 3. So I think and you want the likes of Joseph and you want the likes of Nathan to go be playing first team football. Simples. 2 more to go. One's I'll do the Calvin Phillips one at the end because that's not really a contract, so to speak. Antonio, what do we do about Antonio? I mean, to be honest, to be fair, I mean, let's renew him. Let's renew him. And the reason why I want to renew him is sort of this newfound idea that actually he's not a starter. He's an impact substitute. And actually, a season of doing that, you're probably less likely for him to get injured. He's going to be playing, still making 35, 40 appearances probably, but only playing 25, 30 minutes. And maybe that will make a huge impact. And I think, the fact we've got this Bowen and again, this race may well change in the summer if there's a different coaching staff put in place. But I think Antonio, I think he's still got it's still usefulness there. I mean, he came on was it the Brentford game, and he ended up playing left wing, and then he moved up front, and then Bowen dropped to the left wing, and that's good. I like that. I don't think he's not a starter. He's still a Premier League all-time goal scorer. I would offer him an extension to his contract, maybe a year, maybe no more than 2 years, because he's 32, 33 already. One more major injury and he's done in basically. So I would do that. I would do that. I mean, what would be great in afterwards. Go in the chat afterwards and let me know in the comments what you would do. What you would do. So you can pause it. I'm just pretending like that you've paused it. So you can pause it and then put in what you would do. And what we'll do is as well is anyone who's commented, anyone who's put their farewell or renewals in there, we'll do a draw. We'll do a draw and we'll sign. Flo, pass me something. Pass me one of those pictures. Flo's going to pick, and we'll do. We'll do just something in there. Just pick underneath. That's it. Just pick one. Just pick anything. That'll do. Yeah. Okay. That'll do. Thanks, Flo. So the winner. So whoever wins will win. Oh God, I've dropped it already. So whoever that will win, picked by Flo. Lovely Ian Bishop signed picture. Lovely. Well done, Flo. Well done, Bubs. Put over there. So whoever, I'll pick one randomly. We did it during the Christmas anyway. So we'll do that. But anyway, just put yours in, your predictions. Not your predictions, you know what I mean. Calvin Phillips, I think Calvin Phillips comes down to money in my ideas in terms of what we would do. It's not really a renewal or a farewell. He's out of contract. I think if it would be a case where whoever's the coach, whatever Tim Styden thinks, really, I think he hasn't really done anything yet, really, in all honesty. Could well change. He's playing for a place in the squad for the Euros, and he hasn't really had an opportunity. Maybe he might get some minutes against Everton, but then will Moyes change a winning formation? He doesn't usually do that, and to the detriment of taking out Souček, not going to happen. So not for Moyes. I thought Souček had a good game on Thursday. JWP, no, I don't think so. I thought actually JWP probably had one of his best games on the pitch. Myself and Anton, we had a disagreement about that, but I thought actually he had a really good game. Just in terms of his chasing, his energy levels, and obviously Alvarez is just Alvarez. So I'm not gonna put him in at all, just because it's out of contract. Also, on top of that, don't forget we'll be losing Tilo Kehrer, because in essence he is a try before you buy, but his contract, although runs out in 2026, he's on loan, and therefore he's got it's not an obligation to buy. It's an obligation to buy, I believe, with Monaco, and the parameters are very, very simple. And also Ben Rama as well. That's another two. So in the farewell bit, and these guys will be, I can imagine these guys are going to be going, would be Ben Rama and also Tilo Kehrer. That's not talking about, for the time being, I'll put him in there because he's, he will not be, at the moment, he'll be going home. So it's back to his parent club. Then you've got the likes of Lucas Paqueta. You've got the likes of Naif Gerd. You've got the likes of Zuma potentially. So you've got, you could have another 2 or 3. You could lose up to, what are we on, 7, including Phillips. Paqueta, 8 possibly. Ings, 9. Downs could be as well, 10 if Southampton get promoted, and they exercise and they basically bring him back. It's quite a lot, isn't it? Again, as well. I mean, there's talks today. Was it today or was it yesterday? No, yesterday in the press. But he could be the next one out the window, so to speak, out the door. Not out the door. It's a transfer window, but you're out the door. So you start looking at that and you go, Christ, actually, there's quite a few people. So it is a big. So for me, it's crucial that we get this manager's appointment sorted, or this first team coach appointment sorted as soon as humanly possible. Although, don't forget, whoever takes this new role, it's much more likely that Tim is going to be running the shop. That apparently was one of the criteria in the David Moyes contract, which he hasn't signed, it was a coaching contract, and also Tim Styden was in charge of recruitment. So actually, he's already working on this. So although it seems like it's like as I said, cataclysmic. It's not like it's something they don't know about. And that's why we have this. That's why we improved our scouting network. That's why we've got Maximilian Hahn in to improve our analysis in terms of our scouting. We've got Mortis now as international coach, international scouting. We've still got Rob Newman knocking about. We're looking to bring in an academy recruitment person as well. So so that is going on in the background. We're being linked to players. We're going to talk about Hammer's headlines. 2 or 3 players we've been linked to today. In preparation for this this summer. And obviously, having not really got anyone in January, that money that would have been potentially earmarked could then go towards this, plus any people we get rid of, and just general money we've got to spend in the transfer market anyway in the summer. So, although it looks like it's really bad, this is all part. We know it's going to happen. And actually, and to be honest, this whole thing is not a failure of. In terms of the whole contract issues, the fact that we have so many contracts up, it's a failure of poor management beforehand. In terms of contract management, traditionally you've got there 3 or 4, 20 to 27. Maybe we had a big sort of splurge, but obviously that was Souček deal in there as well. It's sort of like. It's a refresh every, in a few positions. 2026, the chances are it will only be Emerson who's out of contract if we haven't already signed an extension to him anyway. But it's only this sort of period now. And part of this period now is because the likes of giving Oggy another year, giving Cresswell another year. These guys we could have probably... Oggy would have been last summer, potentially would have not been here. So if we didn't offer him a new deal. So, yeah. Not great, it doesn't look great on paper, but we've got Tim. In Tim we trust. Anyway, don't forget, let me know in the comments who you would renew and who's farewell and who's renewed, and then we'll pick a winner. We'll probably do that. We'll probably do that live on the show on Friday. So you've got 24 hours, and then we will. You'll win a Ian Bishop signed print. You're welcome. Keep an eye on the channel. We do these things all the time, all these times, particularly if you're a channel member, you get automatically entered in. We still haven't, the guys who, in the February draw for the signed shirt side ball haven't claimed it. And I'm not, you got to pay attention. They haven't claimed it. They haven't claimed it by the end of the month. It's a rollover. 2 shirts, two balls, 2 shirts and 2 balls in the March draw. So if you're not a channel member, get involved now. We'll have there's a shirt from this season, there'll be a shirt from last season, 2 signed footballs. So that's 4 chances of winning. If you are a channel member, you get automatically ended in a couple of quid a month, and it supports the channel. Take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble. I'll probably might pop back lunchtime, maybe. Take care, much love, bye bye.